Ever feel like you're drowning in customer data?
I know it, right?
It's got important stuff buried in there, but actually finding those golden nuggets.
Yeah, like finding a needle in a haystack.
Exactly. So that's what we're diving into today, how AI can help us make sense of all that data to build a better customer experience.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's all about the customer experience.
Couldn't agree more. And luckily, we've got expert speaker here to help us unpack this report from Recordia.
Yeah, they've got some really interesting insights.
It's seriously eye-opening.
It is, it is.
Like right off the bat, they just come out and say how crucial customer experience is.
Oh, absolutely.
Like even more than brand loyalty and price combined.
More than brand, more than price. If you want a loyal customer base, it's all about the experience.
CX is king.
CX is king, they're saying.
Which makes sense when you think about it.
It does. It really does.
That it's not always obvious.
Well,
Yeah.
it's easy to get caught up in the flash in the market, but
Totally. But the data doesn't lie. This report highlights research from Gartner showing that CX drives more than 2/3 of customer loyalty.
2/3, that's huge.
Yeah.
It even outweighs brand and price, like you were saying, combined.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It really makes you think.
It does. Like maybe we should be focusing less on those fancy logos and more on the actual customer journey.
Well, exactly. And the report actually, they point to this PwC study that found that almost 3/4 of customers, they're putting experience above everything else when making a purchase.
Wow, 3/4.
3/4.
That's a huge chunk of consumers saying, hey, I care more about how you treat me than how shiny your brand is.
It's a huge shift, and businesses need to be paying attention.
Okay, so we've established that customer experience reigns supreme. But then the report takes this interesting turn. It starts dissecting these traditional CX methods like surveys.
Oh yeah, survey's classic.
But they make a really good point. Surveys only capture a tiny snapshot of the entire customer journey.
Right. It's like trying to understand the whole ocean by just looking at a single drop of water.
Such a good analogy. And you're relying on customers to willingly give you information.
Right. And let's be honest, most people only fill those things out if they've had like a stellar experience or an absolutely horrible one.
Exactly.
But you're missing all those everyday interactions.
All those little moments of truth that really shape how a customer feels about your brand.
Exactly. And that's where the magic of AI comes in.
Okay, so tell me more about this AI magic, because it sounds like this is where things get really interesting.
It does, particularly in the realm of conversational intelligence.
Conversational intelligence, so we're talking about actually using the conversations customers are having.
Exactly.
Instead of just guessing what they're thinking.
Right. And Recordia, they're at the forefront of this.
So they're using AI to analyze these massive amounts of customer conversations.
Exactly, which is really exciting.
And it's not just analyzing in a general sense. They're talking about identifying specific issues and opportunities in real time.
Yes, in real time, which is incredible when you think about it.
One thing that really jumped out at me was this idea of sentiment analysis.
Sentiment analysis.
It sounds really complex, but I'm guessing it's all about understanding the emotions behind the words.
You've got it.
Uh-huh.
Think about those traditional satisfaction surveys, right? You know, the on a scale 1 to 10, how satisfied were you kind of deal.
Yeah, those are everywhere.
Sentiment analysis is like so much more than that.
So it's not just a number, it's actually understanding the emotions.
Exactly. So instead of just a single moment in time, it's using AI to actually detect the emotions and attitudes in a customer's words, even their tone of voice.
Wow, it's like having an emotional intelligence superpower. Being able to read between the lines of a conversation and uncover all those subtle cues that might have gone unnoticed before.
Exactly. It's super powerful.
It's like we've had this whole dimension of customer feedback just hiding in plain sight this whole time.
It really is. Like we were just scratching the surface before.
And now we can actually use it, not just collect it and let it gather dust.
Exactly. Exactly. Instead of just relying on what customers tell us directly.
Which, let's be honest, isn't always the whole story.
Right. Sometimes they're just trying to be polite.
Exactly. Or they've already given up on trying to explain it.
We've all been there.
So now with sentiment analysis, we can actually use their actual words and tone to get a much clearer picture.
And it's not just about identifying negative sentiment either.
Oh, that's a good point.
Think about it. Imagine being able to pinpoint those moments of delight.
Those wow moments.
Exactly. Those interactions where the agent goes above and beyond, creates a true advocate for your brand.
Okay, yeah, that's huge.
That's pure gold for training.
For building a better customer-centric culture from the ground up.
100%.
But wait, there's more.
There's always more.
This report does not stop at sentiment analysis.
They just keep going.
They also talk about voice biometrics, and okay, I'll admit, when I first heard that, I thought,
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
okay, are we living a sci-fi movie now?
Right, like is this Minority Report?
Exactly. But it's actually way more grounded and practical than I realized.
Yeah, once you start thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense.
It does. So for those of us who haven't quite caught up to the future, break it down for us.
Okay, so basically, think about how much of our world is becoming voice activated already.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I talk to my smart speaker more than I talk to my own family sometimes.
Right, exactly. So voice biometrics is basically using your unique voice print to verify your identity.
So instead of digging through my wallet for my account number,
Or trying to remember those security questions from like 2005.
which I always get wrong, by the way,
Oh, every time.
you could just verify your identity with your voice.
Exactly. And once your voice print is registered, it can be used across all of the company's channels. Calling in, chatting online, even using a voice assistant. It all becomes seamless.
Less time on hold, fewer hoops to jump through, just a smoother overall experience.
Who wouldn't want that?
Seriously.
And it's not just better for customers either.
Oh, right, because businesses are all about efficiency.
Exactly. So it's a win-win. Customers appreciate the ease and convenience, and businesses benefit from the increased security and efficiency.
Because unlike a password, you can't really fake or steal someone's voice.
Exactly. It's way more secure.
Especially in a world where it feels like every other day there's a new data breach.
It's a scary world out there.
It really is. So this voice biometrics thing sounds like it could be a game changer on a lot of levels.
It has the potential, that's for sure.
But it sounds like the benefits go even further. Didn't the report mention something about personalizing the customer experience?
You're right, it did. Imagine this. An agent receives a call, and instantly, thanks to voice biometrics, their screen shows the customer's entire history with the company. All their past purchases, support tickets, even their preferred communication style. It's all right there.
Wow, talk about personalized service. That's incredible.
It's like having a cheat sheet for building rapport and anticipating customer needs before they even have to voice them.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from understanding why CX is king to unlocking insights with AI and even diving into the world of voice biometrics, which I still can't quite get over.
It is pretty wild when you think about it.
But I'm sensing a common thread throughout all of this.
I'd say so too. It all comes back to listening. Really listening to your customers.
It sounds so simple,
It does, doesn't it?
but putting it into practice, that's where the magic happens.
And that's where AI can really help us bridge that gap.
Because for too long, businesses relied on these really limited methods like surveys and focus groups to understand their customers, but as we've been discussing, those only scratch the surface.
It's like trying to understand the entire universe by looking through a straw.
Right.
AI and conversational intelligence give us the ability to dive deeper.
To find those really valuable nuggets of insight hidden within those everyday interactions.
And there are so many insights just waiting to be uncovered.
And it's not just about collecting those insights, it's about actually using them.
Exactly. It's about driving meaningful change within your organization.
Turning every customer interaction into an opportunity for learning and improvement.
Now you're getting it.
Which brings me to another point that really struck me in the report.
Okay, hit me with it.
Using conversational intelligence to not only understand our customers better, but also to help our employees improve.
Oh, I like that.
So it's not just about the customer, it's about empowering our teams as well.
Absolutely, and AI can play a huge role in that.
For example, remember how we talked about AI detecting things like long silences or interruptions in a conversation?
Yeah, it's like having a superpowered listening device.
Well, that data can be incredibly valuable for coaching and training agents.
Oh, absolutely. It's like having personalized insights into an agent's performance.
So instead of just guessing where an agent might need more support or training,
Or relying on random call sampling.
we can use the AI to actually identify patterns and areas where they might need additional help.
Exactly, and not just areas where they need help, but also areas where they're excelling.
Oh, that's a good point. So it's not just about catching people doing things wrong.
It's about highlighting those best practices.
And creating a culture of continuous learning and improvement.
Because everyone benefits from that.
But, and I do have a but here, I imagine there are some concerns about this kind of technology.
Oh, for sure, there are always concerns. It's important to address them head on.
Like privacy, for example. Is this just another way for companies to spy on their employees?
Well, it's not about spying, it's about using the technology responsibly.
So transparency is key.
100%. Agents should be informed about how the technology is being used and involved in the process of creating ethical guidelines.
It's about empowering them, not micromanaging them or creating an environment of distrust.
Exactly. Trust is everything.
Absolutely. It's about using AI ethically and responsibly to create a workplace where everyone feels valued and respected.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Speaking of using AI responsibly, the report does touch upon some potential downsides.
Right. It's not all sunshine and roses.
It's important to acknowledge that.
For sure, like any tool, AI can be used for good or bad.
We need to be mindful of things like bias.
Oh, absolutely. Bias in algorithms is a huge concern.
We need to make sure those biases are addressed and mitigated.
And constantly be evaluating and refining the technology.
So it's not just about implementing the technology, it's about implementing it thoughtfully.
Exactly. It's about having a plan and being very intentional about how we use these powerful tools.
But even with those considerations, the potential here is huge.
Oh, absolutely. It has the potential to revolutionize the way we do business.
This isn't just about tweaking customer service around the edges.
This is about a fundamental shift in how businesses operate.
Moving from a reactive approach to a proactive one, using data not just to fix problems, but to anticipate and prevent them.
And to identify new opportunities we might not have even thought of before.
Which brings me to my final point for this section. The report briefly mentioned AI's ability to measure and improve call quality. And it made me think about those dreaded messages we hear all the time.
You mean this call may be monitored for quality assurance purposes?
Yes. Those always make me nervous.
Me too. Like I'm always suddenly hyper aware of how I sound.
Exactly. But what if, instead of relying on humans to randomly sample calls,
Which, let's be honest, can be pretty subjective.
AI could monitor every single interaction
Wow, that's a lot of data.
and pinpoint areas for improvement?
At scale.
Exactly. And not just errors, but it could also highlight examples of exceptional customer service.
So we can learn from the best of the best.
It becomes less about catching people doing things wrong and more about creating a culture of constant learning and improvement.
I love that. A culture of continuous improvement.
Everyone benefits from that. The customer, the employee, the business as a whole.
It's a win-win-win.
Exactly. So by leveraging the power of AI, we can set a new standard for customer experience, one that's constantly evolving and improving. And that's what makes this so exciting.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Because it's not about reaching some arbitrary finish line. It's about continuously striving to better serve our customers.
And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It's like those individual customer interactions, those conversations, they become these building blocks for creating a better experience for everyone.
It's a really powerful way to think about it. Like you're weaving together all these threads to create this tapestry of customer understanding.
Okay, I love that analogy. But before we get too carried away with the excitement, there was one more thing from the report I wanted to touch on, and feel free to nerd out on me here.
Oh, I'm always down for a good nerd out.
Perfect, because they kept mentioning call categorization and conversation analysis, and I'll admit, it sounds a little bit like AI jargon to me.
It does sound a bit technical, doesn't it?
It does. So in plain English, what are we really talking about here?
So in a nutshell, it's about taking all those customer conversations and using AI to organize and understand them at a deeper level.
So instead of just knowing that a customer called with a complaint.
Right, because not all complaints are created equal, right?
Exactly. You can actually delve into the specifics.
Like what were the root causes of their frustration? What language did they use to express themselves? What solutions were they hoping for?
Okay, now that makes a lot more sense. So it's like taking this massive amount of unstructured data
All those calls, all those chats, all those emails.
and using AI to organize them based on specific keywords, topics, even the emotions expressed.
Precisely. It's like having an AI assistant that listens to everything and then creates these beautifully organized reports, highlighting the most important points.
So we can actually use that information to make real changes.
Exactly. Pinpoint areas for improvement, whether it's your products, your processes, your marketing messages, even how you train your employees.
It's about connecting the dots between what customers are saying and what businesses can do to better serve them.
100%. It's about bridging that gap.
It's almost like giving our customers a voice, a real voice, beyond just a survey or a feedback form.
I love that because now it's not just about collecting feedback. It's about truly listening and understanding.
And using that understanding to build better products, better services, better
Isn't
experiences.
that what it's all about? Creating something that truly resonates with people.
I think so. And this report has given me so much to think about, from the power of sentiment analysis to the potential of voice biometrics. It feels like we're on the verge of a CX revolution.
We are. We really are. And it's an exciting time to be in the business of understanding and serving customers.
It really is. And I, for one, am excited to see where this technology takes us next.
Me too, me too.
Mm.
The possibilities are endless when you really think about it.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive for today, but this conversation is far from over.
Oh, absolutely. This is just the beginning.
So, to our listeners out there, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you had any experience with AI-powered customer experience? What opportunities and challenges do you see on the horizon? Join the conversation and let's keep exploring this fascinating world together. Until next